So my next question to you all will be one pro and one con about the career that you are currently working in.
I love this question. One pro, kind of coming off of what Jasmine said, was that we're able to be in a position of power and help people. Like our stories can literally help people. And that's, for me, that's like my goal at the end of the day. Getting out, talking to people on the streets, figuring out what's important to these people. What do they feel is affecting their lives that they can't get the answers to, that maybe we can get the answers to. So I feel that's one pro, being in hard news. You can get those answers for those people that may not have the voice to get those answers. I know one con for me is that news never stops. It's always going. Sometimes we need a break. We need a break as people. And over the summer, I remember there was this breaking news story when there was a guy on top of a building and he was trying to commit suicide. And I was working with the digital team at that point, and I had to write up a story for it and hurry up and put it out. And my anxiety almost took over, y'all. I literally stood there. I stood there for like 5 minutes, not knowing what to do, because, you had people yelling, you had the digital team trying to tell you what to write and things like that. So that's a con, that news never stops for nothing. You can have anxiety attacks, whatever, but it never stops. So that's one thing that I don't like about the news. But I guess that's also another thing that I do like about it, because it gives me that rush. But those are my two pros and cons.
So I'll start off with my con. My con is I don't like managing myself. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm immediately going to my email. I probably have 200 emails from PR companies, and I have to sort through them to figure out what editors are trying to pitch me a story. I have to keep up with invoices so I can make sure I'm paid, and I have to also keep up with quarterly taxes. I don't like doing any of that. I didn't go to school to be an accountant. I went to school for journalism. So I don't like figuring out how much money I'm owed. I don't like checking my bank account. I don't like having timers and Excel sheets. Like, I like none of this stuff. And like, I try to force my mom to do it for me, but she doesn't understand anything either. And I barely understand it myself. So that is a major con. I don't like self-managing, especially the financial side. It's been times I'm like missing like $5,000, and I'm stressed because I can't even, I have to get all my documents together, my tax information. And so that's a big thing, making sure I'm putting money for the taxes aside, making sure I'm running after people to make sure I get my money paid. A pro for me is, I would say I really like talking to people. I think I did hard news before and I loved it, but with investigative journalism, I'm able to talk so much. I like to talk a lot. So I'm like, I can talk for 1,500 words. I can give you a story with 1,500 words and give you every single detail, what color shirt they wore, their disposition when I spoke to them. Like, I really like curating really robust storytelling that puts you in the mind of the subject. And so that's something I really enjoy, is being able to sort of like bolster communities and have these communities' voices on full display and really show like how robust the humanity we have around us is. So that's probably like my biggest pro.
I'll start with the con. Is kind of just like the creative blocks. Just being in media, like, there's so much all the time, and it's always a new trend, or sometimes, you compare yourself to other people's work and things like that. Everyone does it. And so like going through creative blocks and just having a hard time when it's like, you're a creative, like why am I having a hard time being creative sometimes? But once you get past that, because I don't know, everyone goes through it, I would say it's not that bad. But at the same time, on the pros, I would just say the industry and everyone's so creative and fun.
Piggybacking off of what Sydney said, a con is definitely sometimes you get creative block, or sometimes things happen in your personal life and you're expected to continue to produce. Like, work doesn't stop. Just like Beyla said, it's not going to stop. And that just goes for everything, like school. It's not going to stop just because you're dealing with other stuff. So you have to learn how to balance all of that and kind of separate certain things in your life. But a pro is the fact that, you can be creative, like be able to express yourself. Like I was saying earlier, you can express other people's visions and their ideas and stuff and bring it to life. And people get so happy seeing stuff like that. And that's what makes me feel fulfilled.
So for me, I would say a con is, because I want to be a reporter, it can be like very emotionally taxing. The emotional part of it, and just being like forced to separate your emotions from your job, and not like sometimes being able to just be human is kind of, it's hard. But a pro would be being literally the voice for communities that don't have a voice. And you hear people say that all the time, but literally being inside of the newsroom, making decisions as a producer or as a reporter, pitching stories, and then watching them come to life on the news, and people getting help genuinely because you pitched a story that you may have gotten an email about, and just watching their life change because of that is just so rewarding.
Well, I know me personally, my biggest con and biggest struggle that so far has been learning my worth and learning how to also say no and also stand up for myself within my work. A lot of times I sell myself short because I'm trying to be nice to people, especially college students that are buying my work. I want to appease to everybody, but I also have to remember that I put a lot of work behind what I do, and that I deserve to get my flowers as well. My next question is directed towards Beyla. What is something that you wish you could tell freshman you before jumping into the broadcast journalism major at FAMU?
Let me take it on back to 2019. Shout out class of 2023. One thing that I wish I could tell myself, and I'm still trying to tell myself, is that everyone is on a different path. You know, you come in, and I'm sure some of you guys on here are underclassmen, and you see us on FAMU TV 20 and all these news internships and things like that. But you have to take a step back and remember that we are all on our own individual paths. And as long as you sow those seeds, you will see your fruit of your labor. The opportunities might seem a little smaller, a little bigger, but one thing that I wish I would have told myself or I would have thought about is just that we're all on different paths. And I'm still telling myself that to this day. You know, I'm surrounded by giants at FAMU. You know, me is on a different path, Jasmine's on a different path, even though we're still in the same industry, but we are all on our various different paths.
Thank you for that. And for Jasmine, what are some holy grail tips pertaining to your on-air presence that you have learned over time and keep with yourself to this day?
Smile, because I got in trouble all the time when I was anchoring for TV 20 for not smiling and being conversational, because y'all hear about like the news voice and how you're supposed to sound, but genuinely you're just supposed to be conversational, and how your voice sounds, you know, just edit it a little bit, but it's supposed to be conversational, and smiling because you're supposed to be talking to the camera like you're talking to someone at home. Like the thing that I hear from my mentors all the time is talk like you're talking to your mom. Like if you're telling your mom a story, how would you tell her the story, you know? So smiling, being conversational, and just knowing that it's okay to make mistakes. Like, yes, you're on TV, but you're still human and you still stutter.
Next question is directed towards Sidney. How do you juggle the multiple career paths that you may want to indulge in that you may have when it comes to this industry?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that answer out. I don't know. What I'm trying to tell myself now is that I'm young, and I already know that I want to be in media. Like, I know that's my passion, but I don't know specifically what. So I'm young. I still have time to figure it out. And I feel like as long as I'm, you know, finding what makes me happy and hopefully making me big coins one day, as long as I just take the time to figure it out and I'm having a good time with it, I just, you know, try everything, because why not?
I came up with a new one for Mia. Do you ever deal with imposter syndrome, and how do you kind of check yourself and remind yourself of the accomplishments that you have, and just reminding yourself of your success? How do you do that?
Yes, so in my head, nothing will ever be good enough. Like, that's just how my mom raised me. And I came from a household, like, my mom, you know, she wasn't able to go to college, and my dad is Caribbean. So it was like, there is no, like, the sky is not the limit. Like, you have to be in a galaxy. So oftentimes I do feel like with the work I do, if I take a break from a while, I will literally like beat myself up, like, you got to get back on. I was really hard on myself, and so I never really sit back, and at that point in time, like last year, I never really sat back and said like, oh, like you know, like you be on your shit. I don't know if I can cuss, but like you be on your shit. Like, I like you know? And so that was the biggest thing, is that I don't think that I took enough time to have gratitude for where God has placed me in life. And sometimes when you're so busy working and you have this end goal, you don't see how far, you know, you have come so far. I would have never thought I'd been published in Teen Vogue, or like having an active freelancing gig, or like making money with my passion while in college. And so it's so important for us to like write our brag list. Like, everybody, 2022 is going to come to the end. Write your brag list, like really brag on yourself. We are always so focused on like our resolutions and our new goals that we don't revel in like what God has given us in the current moment. But I really feel like we have to go back and look at some of the people that we admire and see where they started. If I go back and look at Key Palmer and see how much she's blossomed, like it sort of shows that normalcy. Like we all have that room to grow, and we're all really young. We're 21 and under, 22 and under. So really give yourself that grace.
Just what Mia was saying about the journey, you definitely have to fall in love with the journey versus your end results. Because for me, I totally get what you're saying. Like I feel like it's never going to be enough for me. Like there's always another goal to be reached. So you just have to fall in love with like everything you're doing along your path. Like all of that, there's little accomplishments and little things you need to pat yourself on the back for, you know? Don't beat yourself up too much and don't like overextend yourself or anything like that. Like there's going to be more.
And I actually want to add one more thing. When I was applying for the Condé Nast internship, I think 1,000 people applied for the role that I had. And I was like, I wonder why they picked me. Like I literally, when I got there, I know that it's so childish, but I was asking like my coordinator, I was like, so like what like made my application stand out? Like I know there's other girls doing the same thing. And one thing that I witnessed at HBCUs is that we really know how to curate, even if it's real or fake, a personality, a brand. That is something that the fanfare of HBCUs really do propel you. And so the way that I'm talking to you guys now is how I was talking to them in my interview. So sometimes we don't notice those small gifts that we're being like that are ingrained in us by being around Black women like ourselves. So a lot of things that we sort of ignore is kind of like God's gifts that are very subtle. So just always just look at the small things that you may have that someone else may not, you know, have as naturally.
What tips or tricks do you have for a beginner in your field?
Well, tips, just don't like try to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect time. Like there's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect moment. And if you keep waiting, you're going to keep stalling and pushing things off, and you're probably going to end up not doing it. So I'd say just start as soon as you can. Like when you get your ideas, plan them out and push them out. Like don't stall on yourself. Also, be yourself with it. Like we have so many content creators nowadays, and I mean everyone's kind of just coming, not everyone, but a lot of people are coming off as basic or like, you know, you don't really want to watch. What draws people to you is your personality. Like what's different about you than other people, you know? And the industry is never oversaturated. Like you can have 1 million people doing the same video. It's about what you're doing in your video. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Like seriously, as cringy as you may feel like you are, there's gonna be someone that can relate. Like there's an audience for everyone. There's an audience for everything. So just do you.
Another tip that I would add, and Ayana's on the call. I remember when I met Ayana, I was like, so yeah, I want to be Keke Palmer, and you're about to be my mentor. So like, what are you gonna do about that? And the first thing she was just like, was do one thing every day for your dream life. And it literally is just building those intentional habits. So I read every morning. I'm constantly reading people that I aspire to be, because naturally when I'm absorbing their thoughts, they're going to become my own. And not like you're copying them, they become the inspiration, the blueprint for what inspires you. So do one thing every day. If it's just watching camera settings or figuring out like how I want my dream brand to look like, what do I want my social media to look like, just one thing every day. And that brick by brick, by the end of the year, you would have transformed yourself, transformed your work, and really progressed in that way that you want to.
When it comes to your public image, how do you keep your page fun and personable, but also professional?
I'm definitely going to be myself. Like you came to my page for me, you feel me? Like my experiences, my thoughts, my pictures, all that. So I don't know. I just try to, I emulate who I am on my Instagram. And I mean, Instagram and all your other social media pages don't have to be serious. I feel like people have such a misconception of social media. Like it doesn't have to be like, I feel like everyone's just always trying to be suit and tie, like perfect. Just be you on social media. Like that's why people are coming to your pages, you know?
I think one thing, because I'm going to do what I want on my Instagram. Anybody who follows me, I'm going to do what I want. But you have to make sure you have the work to back it up. So for me, I work so hard that you can't say anything about what I post. You can't say that I'm not getting to the bag. You can't say I'm not doing what I need to do. And so that's what Mama always raised me. Like, you can do what you want. And I always wanted to dismantle from the conservative idea that Black women have to really be so professional on social media, or we will not be able to get the jobs that we want to achieve. And that's a personal choice. And no matter what anybody has to say about it, I always still have a resume to match. So that's just what I do. I'm not saying this is my advice to y'all, but I would say, just if you want to make a risque choice, just make sure it's not going to jeopardize what you're doing. Like, make sure your work is very solid and established.
Summer Johnson, you had a question?
Oh yeah, I had a question. Greetings everybody. My name is Summer Johnson. I'm a second year cardiopulmonary science scholar from Baltimore, Maryland. Although I am not a J School associate or anything, I just have a question for you all, and I mean, you guys can all answer it if you want. But what are some tactics that you use to utilize to help you with such a busy schedule throughout the semester? I know you guys do a lot every single day. I know Jalen is busy 24/7, and I know Sidney is too, but what are some things that you guys do to, you know, maintain a sane kind of like headspace throughout the semester?
I feel like I can answer this one. Anyone knows me, my planner is my best friend. Like, I don't put it down anywhere. I feel like I've really turned into a workaholic, which is not something I want to be, but we're college students and we have a lot going on, and you guys know family is a lot, and it's just always something. So yeah, my planner, if you don't use one, I definitely recommend using one, and using it faithfully, just because it's a good habit if you struggle with time management, or if you yourself have a lot of different things going on. If you know that you are someone who's on top of things, like I know that I can get all my work done and still go out and party, and it's Monday night, and still wake up for my 9 a.m. So just, if you know, then you can give yourself grace.
So everything is in my Apple calendar. So my MacBook, my iPad, my phone, it's all connected to that same calendar. So whatever I put in there, it's going to show up on everything, give me little notifications, and I plan my day out literally to the T. Like, I put in when I'm doing my morning routine from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., when I'm going on my little run, what time I have classes, what time I have to go to this event, what time I'm going to the library. Like, everything is in there, and it helps me, you know, keep everything balanced and keep a track of everything. So that, plus writing it down in the planner, is really, really good. And just being detailed with what you have to do. Like, because if I don't write it down, or if I don't put it in that calendar, it's probably not getting done. Something that I just remembered, Mia told me this, I think it was earlier this year. She said that, because you know how Jasmine was just saying she'll have a huge long to-do list, and yeah, you do have to get everything done, but she takes out like 3 or 5 things that are like, you have to do it today, you know, like there's no other way around it. And she makes sure to focus on those things, and you know, if you have time left over for the other things, get that done, but you kind of put your focus on the 3 biggest things for that day. And Mia, if you want to go deeper into that or not, just, I remember that's what she was talking about.
And a lot of times when you just choose stillness and a little bit of peace, you can find more comfort in your chaos. I do not try to give myself, Jalen has seen my planner, it would have 50 things on it, and I would try to force myself to get all 50 things done. But now I even like put in time, light candles, take a bath, you know, call your friends. Like, I prioritize the rest just as much as I prioritize working. And that has also made me been more intentional about like having restorative care and more of my wellness as well. So I do meditations every morning. I know Danny does like yoga, and she gets in the sunlight. Like, I watch her videos. So like, really putting and prioritizing time for your relaxation is also just important.
I'm going to contrast everything everybody said and say I work in spontaneity. I work best in spontaneity. I have a planner. I've been trying to be a planner girly for about 3 years now, and I am still struggling to this day. But something that I always keep in mind is just get what they said, is get what needs to be done. I try to remember, if I remember something, I'm writing it down immediately. A lot of times I will get the work done, but I'm also making sure I have some time for myself, and also to keep me organized, because yes, I don't have a planner, but also I make sure my work gets done. I stay around people who always have something to do. Sydney's always around me. She's always doing something, and we're always either working on a portfolio or something. I have other friends in different fields, like your field, Summer, cardiopulmonary, things of that nature. That keeps me in the library. This has probably been the most I've been in the library this semester, just off random. I would just wake up, my friend would be like, "You ready to go?" And we'll go. And that structure in my day has helped me with everything I've accomplished this semester. So it really just matters who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people you want to be like, or habits you want to attain, and that will help build the you that you want to be. First, we have Kayla, a third-year broadcast journalism student from Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm going to direct this question to Beyla first. And how do you guys use LinkedIn for networking? And also, how has J-School helped you guys individually?
Okay, I'll make this quick so I don't take up all the time. I literally just got active on LinkedIn probably over the summer. I connected with all types of rattlers. I also connected with people that were in the industry that I was trying to go towards, and that's literally anybody. So if you want to do news, for example, I connected with news directors, producers, digital team, anybody that you can think of that's in that industry. I mean, I didn't just connect with anchors just because I want to be an anchor. Everybody in the news industry is people that I connected with. I connected with companies. You look up different companies that you may want to work with, find the people that work there, connect with them. I literally just got 2 opportunities from LinkedIn. They saw my page, they saw the experiences that I had. They DM'd me, "Hey, Beyla, I think that you would be good for this. You should apply." And I did. I don't want to say DM. I emailed this news director that was like, "Hey, we're hiring." Why am I still stuck on DM? "Hey, we're hiring. Email us your portfolio, your resume, and everything." And I did just that. And the response was great. So you have to kind of use LinkedIn in a very strategic, fun way.
J-School for me, like I said before, I was a biology major. So I really thought I was going to be doing something completely different. And J-School started when I started with Beyond the Sky as a freshman, as a social content manager. So being around older girls who were not exactly the most loving of J-School, but wanted to see J-School be better, was so moving for me. It made me realize that I could do a lot more than what I thought I could. So just being surrounded by people every single day, like in classes, things of that nature. Every time I'm in a class for the first time in J-School, everybody's connecting and just figuring out what they want to do to work with each other, not just in school, because J-School is DIY. If you guys do not already know, J-School is do it yourself, in my opinion. You have to always, be working outside of it to build the better you. So connecting with people that have like-minded ideas, or also have things that you may not normally connect with, but you think could be used to your strength, is important to also, keep in mind.
And I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't talk about. J-School is not going to give you everything you need. Like, I know you said how it helps you, but it's really not. And I'm going to be completely honest. Like, most of the opportunities that I've gotten, I went and got them. Like J-School gives you those foundational skills, just being able to be on air and get that kind of experience, because a lot of other schools and a lot of other journalism students across the country don't have that. So that's the good part about it. But what's going to set you apart is actually going out into the world, getting on LinkedIn, branding yourself, and doing things for yourself, like finding mentors that maybe didn't graduate from FAMU in the industry that you look up to, and reaching out to them and asking them, how they got to where they were, and allowing them to mentor you and actually being receptive, because sometimes J-School can be limited. So I would say, if you see people like me and Beyla and, or whoever you see in J-School, like really, doing things outside of the school, reach out to us and ask us, because we'll tell you and we'll pass along this information. Like I just said in the chat about scripts, it's not limited to those 15 students that they pick. You just really have to go out of your way to go get it, I
definitely want to add on to that. I remember my freshman year, I was telling a professor that, my goal is to start writing for Essence. And, they told me, they were like, that's not really realistic. And I was looking at them and they was looking at me, and I was looking back at them like, oh, okay, like, I guess I just have to go ahead and show you that I can do it. So one thing in J-School, literally, perception is not your reality. You may think that everything around you is what you're limited to, but you are not. And especially as an HBCU college student, we're in this era, you know, where people really want to pour into HBCU students, whether it may be exploitative or not, milk it. Literally, I DM people like, hi, I'm a college student. I'm so small. I'm so little. I'm so young. And they're like, yes, I'd love to help you. Like, really play on the fact that you're still a child and you're eager to work. So like Beyla said, whenever I want to work with an editor, I find their Twitter, and oftentimes on their Twitter, I'm able to find their full name. I type it in on LinkedIn with the publication they work for. I find their email. Like, you can find pretty much anything. And I reach out to them, and a lot of times they reply. And I know, like, when I was in New York, it was really easier because I could just like, oh, let's grab coffee. But even just set up coffee side chats, which is basically like a Zoom where you both have coffee, or you can really not drink anything. And it was like, I would just like to connect with you. And that, oh yeah, Noella was like, so true. Yes, like literally use the fact that you're still a child to your advantage. Like right now, since you're young, they don't see you as their competition. They really see you as somebody that they can kind of like mentor up. Now, once you get out to the real world, you're definitely gonna be their competition. But for right now, if they see something in you, they also in a way kind of want to attach themselves to you. Like, yes, this is my baby that goes to FAMU. Like when I was in New York, everyone was like, this is my HBCU baby. And they were like taking me around everywhere. So really use that to your advantage.
Yeah. Adding on to what everyone else is saying, the only thing J Schools really provided me with is just the connection to these amazing other creatives, and a couple of, you know, internship and scholarship opportunities here and there, which I feel like they're getting better with, because the internship that I secured for next summer, which is my dream internship in New York, I got from a career fair at J School. But other than that, very DIY. You know, everything that I feel like I've done has just been me outsourcing or just doing my own projects or working with other people. So definitely, no matter what school you're in, just don't limit yourself to those four walls.
I see your question, Janelle Sears. I really want to answer this one from Brandy Roman, a third-year public relations student from Tampa, Florida. I'm going to answer Janelle's after. But she asks, I often find myself having a lot more motivation to start on creative productions, but quickly becoming discouraged when it comes to finishing them. I have so many unfinished products and I don't know where to start. Any advice when it comes to creative shelf life? I'm going to start off by saying the art of execution is something I am still struggling with to this day. So don't be too hard on yourself on unfinished products, but it kind of blends into Janelle's question when she says it's been hard to take the leap on certain things. That leap is everything that you have. You would rather deal with the fact that you failed than the fact that you regret not trying. You know what I'm saying? So just taking that leap on a project that may be something that you didn't imagine it to be can be a learning experience above all else. So learning from it, becoming greater from it is better than just regretting not pushing it out. And also making sure that you're getting second opinions, and also, you know, including your friends, because a lot of times I would be losing projects because I'm not asking anybody around me for their opinions. And I feel as though the people around you are the best, you know, source of critique, help in any type of sense. So those are some of the things that I keep close to me. Anybody else can answer that as well.
I will also say, when you were talking about creative shelf life, you are managing your own media company. Like right now, you're not a part of any other organization. You're your own media company. So think about it as if I was a part of ABC News. Would they want this getting done ASAP, or would they think it's an evergreen story? It's your media company, and start operating in that sort of production mindset, and that really enhance and sharpen your skills when you're ready to, you know, get bigger internships. So be like, would anybody want to see this? Like if I was someone regular, would I want to see this in November? For instance, Roe v. Wade, would I like to see a full-fledged documentary over the summer when the decision came out, or do I want to see it now? And if I see it now, is it still impactful enough to really sort of make that statement that I want to have? Is it still going to have that surefire effect? So just kind of think of it as if you're running your own media company and you're investing your time in it, and would you want your time to be wasted?
Definitely what Mia is saying, like things that are pieces of media, yeah, make sure that you put that out during the time that it's relevant. But if it's something that's not, they don't know when it was filmed, they don't know that you didn't just do this yesterday, there is no shelf life to it. So if it's something that you were doing a year ago and you're like, man, you know, like finish it and put it out now. You don't have to tell these folks, you know? So make sure you push all your content out, because you're gonna feel I feel like not completing something for me, like I used to feel so sorry. I'm like, wow, I have all these ideas and stuff and I'm starting it and stopping it, because y'all, ADHD for real be kicking my butt. Like I'm good for starting and stopping because my mind just goes to something new. I'm always looking for something new. My mind is always shifting. So for me, it's been a struggle, but I've definitely come to, start finishing my products and my projects and putting them out there. And also if it's something that was from a year ago, I still put it out because they don't know at all.
I think, Danny, you do a great job of refreshing old memories and creating something new of them. I noticed that a lot of times your projects are from a year, but they still feel like brand new because you know how to create your brand for yourself. So it's important to know your image and, mold it around that. My next question is directed towards Beyla and Jasmine. It's from Sidney Simone. I don't want to butcher your last name, so I'm not going to say it. A second-year broadcast journalism student from Atlanta by way of Chicago. And she said, thanks so much for this panel first. And it's so refreshing to hear from other college students in the field. What is one mistake that you've made along your journey? And what is one of the best decisions that you have made so far? And actually, it's open to any of you guys, but I want to start off with Beyla and Jasmine.
Okay, I can go. Not gonna lie, y'all, I don't really have many regrets because I think, as cliche as it sounds, you literally learn from everything. Everything that I've done, something good or something worth remembering has come from it. But if I had to pick a regret, I would say not putting myself out there more my freshman year. I didn't really start getting into news and really perfecting my craft until sophomore, junior year, just because I was scared. My freshman year, I did when I was in Jacksonville, I literally did everything. My hands were in everything. But as soon as I got to FAMU, I was overwhelmed by the culture. I was everyone's doing so much and I don't know where to start. I would see my favorite now mentors and big sisters in J school doing everything, always busy, and I was literally afraid. So I would say people are willing to help you and don't be afraid to reach out for help because everybody started somewhere. And never what's the word? What they say, never tell yourself no before somebody else gives you a chance, something like that. Don't count yourself out, just put yourself out there and see what happens. And nothing is too big for you to go after.
One of my mistakes that I've made along my journey, I feel feeling the things that I do are not perfect enough to put out yet. I am kind of a perfectionist, and I feel you see things and you want to create that, but you haven't gotten the concepts yet, or it's something that, you feel you can do better in the future. I feel you just need to do it. You're going to grow. Perfection is not going to come off the first try, and you're not going to get, if you don't keep putting stuff out there, if you don't keep trying and doing it over again and keep researching, it's not going to be, perfect ever. So just keep doing what you're doing, because like I said, it's about the journey. It's about how much you grow. It's about what you're learning along the way. So put yourself out there and you're going to see how you grow over the years. And that was my mistake, or at least something that I used to just stop, hold back on a lot of stuff because I felt it wasn't perfect enough. Now I just do it. You're going to learn, you're going to grow.
Dorothy Sanders asks, a fourth-year political science scholar from Miami, Florida. She asks, what is some advice you would give to students who are not J-School scholars who are interested in mainstream media as well as the social media environments and want to get more involved? Also, this will be our last question, but feel free to DM any of these girls for questions because I promise you they will help you so much as they've helped me. So feel free to ask her or answer the question.
Start. I'll start. So, well, you're still on campus, so if you have the opportunity to still try some of the organizations on campus that have to do with media, like Journey Magazine or the FAMU, if you're interested in journalism, and things like that. There's always ways, or even organizations need social media managers or directors or people to make content. So I would just not count out your different opportunities. And even then, outside of that, you can always, do your own content. Everyone's a content creator these days. So it's kind of just figure out what you're into. And, I just feel like media is so DIY. Whatever you want to do, just find out what skills you need and go for it.
I definitely agree with Sidney. I would also reach out to FAMU Communications, see if they need any extra interns, or even if you could shadow if Christian Aristotle, he's over the FAMU 1887 Instagram, if you want to help him in that way. And then also literally pick your skills that you want and start mastering them, like TikTok. I don't know if you want to get into graphic design or just social media management in general, but going on TikTok, seeing people plan out, or social media managers plan out the content that they're going to put out, plan out the captions, getting into writing that sort of copy, plan out the designs, everything that can be something that you can start practicing on your own and using it. If you're a part of any organizations, ask them if they need help. Start actually saying, like, this is something that I'm interested in. I want to build you guys this much substantial growth in your insights. And if they trust you with that, you can go ahead and start making content with them. So I really say just take the first step. In regards to mainstream media, I know a lot of people who are in media that aren't ever had a J school degree. I think it's really the skill set that you have. I've seen people work on TV shows with production, work in mainstream media with production. So if you really start honing into those skill sets that you want, so at least you have a resume, that's really all you need.
Like, if it were me and I wanted to be a reporter and I wasn't a J school student, I would reach out to reporters that are out there and see how their application process went. Like, what did you submit? How did your interview process look like? What did you do when you were in school? So you can still do those things even though you aren't a J school student. So you can still make a reel, pick up the camera, go record. You can still make a resume. These same internships that we're getting are available to other students as well. So I would say, and most of I'm trying to hurry up, the student media in J school isn't closed off to J school students either. Other people can apply. So don't let that hinder you, because you can always get involved.
And to close it out, I just want to let you guys know, when I started this, I was a rookie and I was about to not apply for Beyond the Sky. I was about to say no, because I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this, but it really just takes that leap. So if anything that you want to take away from this, just take that leap. You don't need the professionalism. You don't need to be the best, because you're growing anyways. You want to get better. You want to learn more. So I just want you guys to enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys feel more confident in whatever you want to do. And also just make sure that you use your resources. So feel free to contact any of these girls or me, myself, because we are looking for people to create with. Not only people to mentor, but people to create with. So you never know who could be your best, outlet. Thank you guys again for joining my Zoom. I so appreciate it. You guys are the best, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your break.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.